Hey man, I feel like this lockdown has changed me. I feel like I'm coming out of this lockdown a changed man. Because, a couple of weeks ago I was at the supermarket. And, they've got that social distancing rule. So when you're at the self serve checkout, every second register is closed, right? So I'm over at one. And then the one closest to me, you've got like a little family, a mother, a father, and their little son. I don't know how old he was, maybe 5 or 6 years old. These days you can't even tell. Um, so I'm there, I'm doing my thing, and all of a sudden the little kid, he sneezes. And it was like a big sneeze, and he didn't cover his nose or his mouth or anything like that. It was just a straight over in my direction. So I'm there, and I just give him one of these. And I kind of had to catch myself. It was like, man, what am I thinking? I'm kind of flexing on a fucking 5-year-old or a 6-year-old. Like, you can't be doing that shit. But at the same time, you can't be sneezing like that in my direction. So, I don't know, man. I felt like I had to catch myself, doing shit like that. And hopefully it's just not something that carries on. Once this shit is all over, you don't want to be flexing on everybody, on every fucking 5-year-old, 6-year-old that sneezes in your way. Because you know how them little kids do it. They never cover their mouth or their nose when they cough. But even the other time, it was this one other time. I was at the supermarket, and I enter the aisle from one end, and then this other lady comes through on the other end, and I'm just there. I just wanted to grab some snacks. That was a chip aisle. I just wanted to grab some snacks, prepare myself for doing nothing at home. So it's just the two of us in the aisle. We're walking closer and closer. She's got a trolley. All of a sudden, she takes two big sneezes, like same shit. Doesn't cover her mouth or anything. And then the first thing I thought was, turn my ass around, get the fuck out of there. Cause she did those two ones, when you don't cover your mouth and you just, it's like you want to spray on purpose. You have the nose action and the mouth action. So, she wanted to spread that germs. She wanted to fucking get everybody else sick. So I turned around, got my ass out of there. I didn't grab my chips, so I'm pissed. I'm fucking pissed off at that situation. But later on that night, I'm watching the movie, and all of a sudden my stomach starts rumbling, and I want to grab myself some food. All of a sudden, I realized what happened. I remember what happened. I didn't get a chance to get me some chips, so I'm pissed. Later on that night, I'm pissed again. But that's just the type of shit that be happening. It's like you don't want to be close to anyone. Every time someone sneezes, you kind of give them a dirty look. That's the type of shit that be happening. That hopefully it doesn't that we kind of get over. But that's the thing, man. That's the media. They put it in your head. They be sneezing and coughing that when you're outside. So now every time you do one of those, you kind of get you cop a couple dirty looks. Um, and I'd hate to think what's going to be happening to because you hear it all the time. Like if it's an Asian person and they're sneezing and coughing out of public, like damn man, they probably get spat on or some shit like that. But that's the crazy thing, right? But other than that, man, I feel like I'm just I'm missing the human touch. I just want to feel normal again, man. Longing for that human touch. Because I feel like after this, I feel like once this is all done, the first girl I'll go on a date with, when the timing's right, and you think I'm going in for a kiss, I'm probably just going to grab your face, turn your cheek, and just give you a big lick. That's probably what I'm going to do. So whoever the first girl is that I go on the date with, hopefully you come clean, so I don't know who you are, where you are, wherefore out there lady that I'm going to go on a date with, but I'm giving you a warning now, the way that I'm feeling, the way that I'm longing for that human touch, that human connection, I'm probably going to lick your face, probably on the first date, so, I'm giving you a warning now, it ain't sexual harassment, because I'm warning you, I'm giving you a warning, you're going to cop a massive face lick, I'm going to just lick your cheek, and I don't give a fuck, because that's how I feel right now. But, guys, I feel like let's just jump into this episode. It is Monday, May 11th, and I don't know if you didn't listen to the previous episode, that's all good, but like I said, this week we're gonna change up the upload schedule. So we're gonna do Monday and Friday rather than Monday and Wednesday. So that's gonna give you a bit of time if you want to have a listen. Give you a bit of time to listen to all the episodes. Yeah, man, we're just gonna change it up a little bit, and I hope because obviously news came out that coming this Friday, stage one of everything reopening is starting. So stage one this Friday, and I think they were saying June will be stage two and everything. I hope when I go back to work I can keep these going for you guys, because I have a tendency to do them like it's not that early. It's like 11 a.m. at the moment, so I want to be able to keep the podcast coming. I don't want just the 9 to 5 to kind of take over, because this is what makes me happy. And like I said last time as well, I'm getting a couple positive feedback, so I want to keep this coming, and I'm enjoying creating content. I'm loving doing the podcasts, so I want to keep all this shit going for you guys, man. But yeah, man, forever better podcast episode, whatever. I don't even know what episode it is. Episode 7, I feel like. But today, I kind of wanted to talk to you all about steps that I took in my life to just be able to live a happier life. There's certain things that kind of I changed around, and once I changed them around, I just became a happier person. Yeah, man, I just started doing shit that I loved, and whatever. Let's just jump into it. So, I guess you can call this episode "Steps to Take to Live a Happier Life." I don't know if y'all are watching this on YouTube, but if you are, I just did like a little pose, because I feel like if this was like a TV show and I was like, this was a little segment, "Steps to Live a Happier Life," it will go into like a little freeze frame. You'd have like an intro song, and that will be the start of this segment. If you're not watching this on YouTube, turn off Spotify or whatever you're listening to it on, and turn on the YouTube, man. You might be able to see my pretty face, and I might do an edit, turn it into a TV segment. But anyways, let's go into it. I think one of the main steps I took to be able to live a happier life, or just be a happier person in general, was just to to gain thicker skin, I guess you can call it, or just to stop caring what other people thought. And I'm not saying stop caring what everybody thinks. It's kind of, obviously you'll have those people that are close to you, or people that you really care about. It's obviously it's okay to to listen to them and care what they think, as long as you know that they are that group of people that have your best interests at heart. But I'm saying stop caring what all these other people think, like people that you don't give a shit about. And also, like I said, to gain thicker skin. I feel like those two go hand in hand, because obviously, say if you think about myself, obviously I'm putting all this shit out there on social media, putting this shit out there on the internet. And these days, when you put shit out there on the internet, it's probably gonna be there for forever. Even if you feel like you've taken it down or deleted it, there's a good chance that it's still gonna be out there somewhere out in the cloud or whatever that is. But obviously, because I put shit out there, I kind of leave myself open to scrutiny and hate. So if you're going to be doing something where you're putting things out into the world like that, you kind of have to be ready for it. And just because of the internet, it gives people like a opportunity to hate on you. It's like easy to hate on somebody. You'd be sitting behind a keyboard and just kind of like typing all this bullshit, hating on people, and you don't even have to be up close to that person. You could be hating on someone from 14,000 kilometers away. You can be hating on your neighbor from a distance. So that's one of the things you have to keep in mind, and yeah, just stop caring what other people think, because I feel like that's like one of the main reasons as to why people don't go for their or follow their dreams. They just care what other people think too much. And one of the things, well, that's kind of what I found as well, because when I was younger, it was just kind of I just kind of wanted to be liked, and I was just scared about what other people thought of me. So that's kind of what kept me in my shell a little bit more. Yeah, I just kind of cared too much, and we live in a world that cares too little. So the worst thing you can be is a person that cares too much, living in a world that cares too little. Because I feel like if you are that way, you're just gonna leave yourself open to a lot of hurt and a lot of pain. Because obviously the world is unfair. The world doesn't owe you anything. So if you act that way, you're just gonna be, you set yourself up for a lot of pain and a lot of hurt. So that's kind of, I thought that's how I used to be, and I kind of changed that because obviously I stopped expecting things out of people. I stopped expecting to be treated a certain way, and I just kind of went into this mode, this little switch where I was kind of just like, fuck it, I'm just going to continue to do what I want and not give a shit about what other people think. Because if you do care too much about what other people think, I feel like you end up being, other people can play you like a puppet. If people know that you react a certain way to their words, they can go out of the way to intentionally push your buttons because they can say something, then automatically they know you'd react just like that. So that's how I feel like you end up being other people's puppet. And yeah, look, the other thing is like sometimes people don't do something because they know that there's a good possibility that they will get hate, and a lot of the time the hate that you get online is just from people that you don't know. Because it's like, you mean to tell me that fucking Johnny, who's 14,000 kilometers away, is the one that's stopping you from doing your thing? Or you care about what that person that's 14,000 kilometers away is saying? Because A, you have no idea who that person is. Like, B, you'll probably never meet that person. And C, that's probably just some random who's fucking sitting behind a computer. So he has no relationship to you whatsoever. So why the fuck do you care so much about what that person is saying or thinking about you? Generally, if he's not going to be in your life, in the next 5 months, let alone 5 days, like why the fuck do you care so much? Or even if it's not going to matter to you, 5 hours from now, 5 days from now, 5 months from now, why would you even spend 5 minutes thinking about it? So that's my little piece of advice to people out there. It's get thicker skin and just stop caring about what other people think, man. You'll probably have your support group, and you know who your little support group is. Maybe like a bunch of 2-3 friends. I know I've got like one friend that supports me a lot, and other than her, it's like I don't really care about what anybody else thinks. I like to put myself out there, and yeah, like at the start when I was too scared to put myself out there, I was just kind of like, all right, fuck it, I'll just do it. And then I kind of didn't look at my phone or anything like that for a couple hours because I was like, oh, I'm probably gonna get, a little bit of hate or whatever it is. But then the feedback has been generally positive, so it's probably going to be the same for yourselves. Obviously, as long as you're not doing something illegal or anything like that. You'd be surprised at what you can do or what's possible if you just stop thinking about everybody else and just do what makes you happy. So yeah, I feel like that's my tip number one for you. Hopefully that made sense, because I feel like sometimes I just like to talk and ramble, even though I hate the sound of my own voice. My tip number two would be to, I guess, learn how to find the positive in every situation. And I feel like I kind of talked about this a little bit before, probably one of my other episodes. But some people are just so quick to find the negative, to focus on the negative things in every situation. Like, oh, I didn't do this, I fucked up with this. But just learn how to focus on all the good things and learn how to build on your strengths. It's like when people are talking about, finding out what their weaknesses are and fixing their weaknesses, which there's nothing wrong with. But obviously, at the same time, you can figure out what your strengths are and just build on your strengths, or just focus on your strengths. Because obviously, your strong points are what's going to, help you be successful. So there's like kind of that way of thinking about it. And I think I talked about it when I was talking about the glass, looking at the glass half full. Because obviously, for the past 15 years, and I know I kind of always relate things to this, but for the past 15 years, when I had my first surgery, the doctor told me I wasn't allowed to run, play contact sports, or jump, which is crazy, man. Because I've been in the fitness industry I've been a PT for 8 years, but little people do people know I haven't been able to run or anything like that. And at the same time, like, they tell you can't do this, you can't do this, you can't do this. But at the same time, you have to think about it. There's so many other things that I can still do. Even though you lose the ability to do one thing, it allows you to focus on other things, and you kind of gain the ability to do so much more. So, because say, all right, you lose the ability to run, jump, everything like this, but then all of a sudden I get myself in shape. And now all of a sudden I've got the ability to motivate all these other people, people that are in similar situations, or people that have all these excuses as to why they can't get into shape. So you lose the ability to do one thing, but you kind of gain the ability to do another. And at the end of the day, because sometimes I think to myself, like, damn, man, if I didn't have all these surgeries, and actually, at the same time, it's because I've had, so many other surgeries. It's like every time my motion, my flexibility, my mobility is kind of becoming less and less, which is why I'm 12 months post surgery and I'm still kind of working on it. But yeah, that's the thing. I was about to say something and I kind of interrupted myself. Yeah, what was I going to say? But yeah, man, it's just try and focus on the positive, and trust me, there's a positive in every situation. Because sometimes when you go through shit in life, it kind of just teaches you so much more. And I guess that kind of comes with that little saying that they have, where it's like tough times don't last, tough people do. But yeah, just try and find the positive in every situation, man. I'm sure you can. I'm sure there is a way. I'm sure there is a positive in every situation. Oh yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Because sometimes I feel like I think to myself like, damn, if I didn't have these surgeries, I'd probably be a fucking beast. I'd probably be. I say to myself, I'd probably be a fucking bodybuilder. Professional bodybuilder, or I probably would have got into, rather than just doing boxing, I probably would have done like full like MMA, like obviously like jiu-jitsu or everything like that. Obviously you need to use your legs a lot more, and have that flexibility when it comes to grappling. But at the same time, it's like, who am I to say? Because I feel like if all of that changed and I didn't have any surgeries or none of that shit ever happened to me, it's like, would I even be the same person? Like, probably not. So that's why at the end of the day, I'm like so grateful for everything that happened, because I feel like, if I'm like being realistic, if I didn't go through any of that shit that I went through, whether it be the cancer or the surgeries or anything like that, and I was continuing on the same path, I'd probably be a little bitch. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, at the end of the day, I'm grateful for the experiences that I had, because I don't think I'd be the same person without it. Like 100%, I feel like I'd probably be a little bitch and just be doing little bitchy things out there. So I'm 100% grateful, man. I feel like it taught me how to just fucking overcome life, and just how to be happy. I feel like I probably wouldn't even be doing this podcast if that shit didn't happen to me. So that's tip number 2, and hopefully you found something interesting in that. And just tip number 3. I know it's like, this one's gonna be a weird one, because I'm like, how to be happier. But my tip number 3 for everyone out there is just to find something that really makes you happy. And when I say find something that makes you happy, I'm talking about finding like a real passion, not just like a hobby. Well, yeah, find yourself a hobby, but just find something that makes you happy, because there's certain things that you do in life that's just kind of, it just takes you I don't know, it just takes you to a different place, man. It takes you to a different place where it's like nothing else matters. And I feel like that's just a good place to be in. Um, this one's hard, I guess this one's hard to describe. It's almost self-explanatory, I guess you can say. But yeah, like find something that makes you happy. It's find that thing in your life that when you do it, it takes you to your happy place, and just nothing in the world matters. Um, yeah, I guess I don't know. I can't really explain it more than that, but it's one of those things where when you find it, you'll be able to feel it, I guess. Um, and tip number 4, I feel like this is gonna be my last tip, but it's gonna be top 4 tips. 4 tips. Um, tip number 4 is just to continuously step out of your comfort zone. Um, because when you step out of your comfort zone, man, that's when you find the most growth in yourself. Um, that's when all your fears kind of step away. Because obviously it's crazy, man. Your comfort zone is your comfort zone for a reason. But when you step out, man, that's when you grow the most. And I'm just telling you this because I feel like I've continuously tried to push myself out of my comfort zone, and every time I have, it's just been, it's I feel like it's just been positive results. So I mean, you can relate it to where if I'm doing new tasks that I've never done before, and I'm just like, fuck it, I'll do it, just because I know I want to learn how to do it. And I'm talking about things like patching up walls and everything like that. Like for some reason, I just wanted to learn how to do it. Um, or even just starting a new venture like this, like jumping into podcasting and putting yourself out there online. Um, once you step out of your comfort zone and you just break barriers in your mind that you had, and it kind of like sets the tone for you continuously growing, because obviously the first step is always the hardest. So once you push yourself out of your comfort zone one time, you can kind of, and it comes to the next time to do it, you can kind of think, well, I didn't realize I could do that before, and I ended up doing it. So I'm pretty sure I'll be able to surprise myself and do this as well. And then, yeah, man, it's just, I don't know, it's always like the start of something new when you step out of your comfort zone. It's the birthplace of growth, and yeah, man, it's just a beautiful feeling. Like you just don't know what opportunities you're missing out on until you step out of your comfort zone. That's a crazy thing. Because, like I said, I can't remember if I said it last episode or whenever I said it. Man, I was scared shitless to do this. I was fucking scared shitless. I don't mind talking, but then for some reason, this situation was just not normal to me. But I went ahead and did it. The results have been positive so far. Um, and yeah, man, it's just like this has kind of been the fuel for a lot of my creativity, because now, like I said, I've got all these other things that I want to do, and they're all fun stuff, and they're shit that kind of gets me excited. Like I'm fucking aroused, I'm fucking turned on, you know. um, and yeah, it was just all because I stepped out of my comfort zone for just that one podcast, whatever it was, 40 minutes, 50 minutes of me rambling. Um, and I wouldn't feel this way if I didn't do it. So it's like, yeah, man, just step out of your comfort zone. Um, and look, I was gonna wrap it up there, but I kind of just thought of one other thing, um, as well. But tip number 5, is don't live in the results. And I feel like I've kind of touched on this before as well, but don't live in the results. So when I say don't live in the results, is just when you're looking at social media, when you're looking at likes, followers, views, downloads, don't focus on those things. Um, Obviously, you've got a little bit of control into it if you're talking about like hashtags and shit like that. But I feel like if you're focusing solely on things like that, those so-called results, it's and if that's kind of what you're basing your happiness and success off, I feel like you'll never be happy. Obviously, because like you're putting your, you're basing that off something that's kind of out of your control. So again, it kind of leads into my first tip where it's like, you know, don't let other people control your happiness. But yeah, and you're just putting your happiness out of your hands, I guess you can say, and you should be in control of your own happiness, I believe. But yeah, just don't live in the results. So when it comes to doing something, whatever, creating a video, recording a podcast, uploading a photo, taking a photo, it's just make sure you're happy with the product. If you can honestly say what you're putting out is the best you can do at that point in time, and you're happy with that, none of that other shit should matter. Because, like I said, man, it's a fucked up world out there. So when you start looking at all those other things, and you've got these certain expectations, but it doesn't live up to that, then it's like, you kind of you're left shattered inside. So just focus on the things that you can control in terms of put out good content. If that's the best you can do at that point in time, then be happy with that. Be proud of what you've accomplished, and don't let other people kind of shit on you. Just be proud of what you've accomplished, and then, a couple months down the line, or whenever, down the line when you're doing it again, you'd be surprised at your growth. It's like, I'm going to relate this obviously to podcasting because I'm podcasting now, but if that's the best you can do at that point in time, beautiful, man. You should be happy with that. But obviously down the line, a couple of months, a couple of years, you'll see your growth. You'll see that you're able to talk a little bit more comfortably, confidently, and you'll just continue to set the bar for yourself. But yeah, just don't live in the results. So yeah, man, that's my 5 tips to live a happier life. So I hope you all enjoyed that. Hope you all took a little bit of knowledge out of it as well. So as much as I want this to be like a comedic podcast, it's like a little bit, like I said, motivational as well. So yeah, man, hope you all enjoyed that. Hope you all enjoyed this episode, because I'm going to wrap it up there, man. And as always, like I say, man, I appreciate your love and support. Go check this shit out on YouTube, youtube.com Forever Better Podcast, I feel like, or just search Forever Better Podcast. Follow the Instagram, and stay tuned for the next episode coming to you on Friday, man. Love you guys.